How one compressor can ruin your day. Uh, Welcome back to Behind the Faders, the channel where we talk about all aspects of live sound mixing and live sound in general. When it comes to compressing signals, then number one priority on everybody's list is the lead vocals, and it's been like that ever since. I mean, when I started my career many years ago, and I was only given one stereo compressor to work with, then one side of this compressor would go onto the lead vocals. That was a no-brainer, and the other half would go into my bass guitar. Because it's very helpful if we can tame and control the dynamics of our lead vocals to make it sit in the mix in the best way possible. However, if the fact that a compressor controls the dynamics of the vocal is all you know about it, that's as far as your knowledge goes, then you don't have the full picture. You're missing the other half of the picture. And if that is the case, you might run into the situation where this one compressor can ruin your day. And I want to demonstrate that. And in order to do so, I will use a video that I made a few years ago during the first lockdown. Because I think it makes the point pretty well, and I saw no reason to kind of make the same video again. So here it is. So let's dive into this. I have a session here, which is a multi-track recording of a show that I've done a few years ago with a wonderful young singer named Diana Babalola. If you're from Germany, you might know her from The Voice of Germany, where she hit semi-finals 2 years ago, or like well, end of 18, I think. I'll leave a link in the description box to a website if you want to check it out. It's definitely worth it. So this was an open air show, but back in, I have no idea, 2016 or something. And this was basically, most of them were cover songs on that show, so I had to be careful of which tune to pick, because I don't want YouTube to take down my video just because I picked the wrong track. I think this one is going to be okay, and I don't even mention the name of the track, and it doesn't matter anyway. So we're going to listen to the soloed lead vocal. I mean, there's a little bit of EQ on it, but other than that, it's just naked. I have this compressor set up, which is not doing anything at the moment. Threshold is all the way up, and I have an analyzer, so we can see what we're hearing. Okay, so let's just listen to a little bit of that.
Found myself in her room, feel the fever.
So you can see the vocals hit somewhere between -12 and -6. Okay, so now we just loop a little section with no vocals. So you hear this little drum lead in the background, which we had all the time. And now I'm going to take down the threshold to the point where it almost hits the drums, like so. I mean, I'm completely overdoing this, okay? Nobody would ever compress anything that much. But it's just so you get the picture. Okay, now it's, yeah, almost hitting the drums. Now we go back to a part with vocals and see what happens.
Found myself in her room.
Now the vocal,
Feel the fever.
the drums are still the same, the bleed.
Falling through the floor.
But the vocal have come down like, well, about 10 dB against the drums. So what I have to do now is I have to use my makeup gain or the fader, because I want my vocal up there where it was at -6 or something. So let's do that.
I found myself in her room.
It was about here, right?
Feel the fever of her doom. Falling through the floor.
And now the bleed of the drums is not just a little. it's there.
I found myself in her room, feel the fever of her doom.
Compared to before, no compression.
I found myself in her room, feel the fever of her doom.
With compression. Where was I?
I found myself in her room, feel the fever of her doom. Falling, falling.
Don't forget there's also probably some background vocals. So if we add the background vocals to the whole picture, also compressed.
I found myself in her room, feel the fever of her doom.
You got pretty much a lot of bleed in there now, all of a sudden.
I'm knocking on.
So now you know what compression does to your vocals in a live situation. So after this, a lot of you might think that this did not sound so problematic. After all, even with this extreme compressor settings. And of course you're right, in this case it was absolutely not a problem. Not only was it not a problem, it was almost ideal. And it was an open air stage, it was a strong singer and a very disciplined and professional band in the back, and a not very busy song. It was ideal. I choose this concert just to demonstrate what a compressor on your lead vocal does. I don't have a multi-track recording of a loud and dirty rock band in a small club to give you the worst case. I just don't have that. So I just picked one of the recordings that I had. So you will have to imagine that in this case, of course, you could apply some compression to your lead vocals, and I definitely did. I think I even used some inline compression and some parallel compression. Not a problem at all. But remember, in this case, you had a budget of 10 dB between a strong voice and a little bit of leakage in the background. Mostly drums and a big guitar, so real not a big deal. But just imagine, in the worst case, you might have a budget of 3 dB, maybe less, between a weak voice. I mean, just the fact that somebody is singing in a rock and roll band does not necessarily mean that he's got a strong voice. So you might have 3 dB between a weak voice and a wall of sounds of guitars and drums, keyboard, everything what's going on, maybe brass if you've got a funk band. And if that is the case, and these 3 dB is all you have to make your lead vocal cut through a little bit at least, and you don't want to give any of that away by compressing it even a little bit. So that was it. I hope that was helpful, and now you have some awareness about the danger that could come with compressing your lead vocals depending on your situation. That's it for today. Bye bye. See you in the next video.